Life can feel like a relentless series of storms, can it? One minute, everything's smooth sailing, and the next, you are just fighting waves you never, ever saw coming. And it's so easy to wonder in those moments, why is this happening to me? God, where are you in all of this? Well, today, we're going to dive deep into one of life's biggest questions. What is the real purpose behind our toughest storms?
Have you ever been in a situation where it just feels like life is battering you? Wave after wave after wave just keeps hitting, and you feel like you're completely dead in the water, just trying to keep your head up. It's this feeling of being totally and completely overwhelmed. And if that's where you are right now, I want you to know you are not alone.
Just listen to these raw, incredibly honest words from King David. Now, this was a powerful warrior, a king, and yet he says, "The waves of death overwhelmed me." He felt like the grave was literally wrapping its ropes around him. He doesn't try to hide his despair, he actually turns it into this powerful song. But notice the crucial turning point. "In my distress, I cried out to the Lord, and he drew me out of the deep waters." This is our first key right here. It doesn't matter how deep you are, it doesn't matter how far you think you've sunk, God can still reach you. Now, a storm, it doesn't always involve literal wind and waves, does it? Maybe for you, the storm is relational. It's with a spouse, or your kids, or a close friend. Or maybe your financial boat is being rocked by some seriously heavy waves, and you feel like you're sinking deeper, wondering if you'll ever get above water. Or, hey, maybe your storm is internal, a battle that nobody else can even see, a fight with depression or anxiety or just this constant fear. Whatever your storm is, it's real, and it is exhausting. All right, so this is where we're going to start to challenge what many of us automatically assume when hardship hits. We're going to look at this idea that these storms aren't just random, and they are certainly not always a sign that you've done something wrong. In fact, they might just have a divine purpose.
Let's look at this story in the book of Matthew. Jesus gets into a boat, his disciples follow him, and then bam, a furious storm just kicks up out of nowhere. But here's the little detail we so often miss. Right before this, Jesus himself gave the order to cross to the other side of the lake. It was his plan, his idea to be in that boat on that sea at that exact time. Think about that. They were following him, obeying him, and sailed directly into a life-threatening storm.
And this slide, this right here, gets to the absolute heart of the matter. The common assumption is, I'm in a storm, so I must have messed up. I must be out of God's will. But the surprising truth, the game-changing truth, is that a storm can mean you are exactly where God wants you to be. The disciples got into that mess because they obeyed Jesus. This might be the most important thing we talk about today. Being a follower of God never, ever exempts you from storms. So, okay, if storms aren't a punishment for disobedience, then what are they? Why would God allow them? Well, as the great preacher Charles Spurgeon pointed out, a calm sea has never produced a good sailor. The purpose of all this stuff isn't to harm you. God allows it to grow you. You will learn things in the middle of a storm that you could never, ever learn on a calm, sunny day. And this illustrates such a powerful concept, spiritual fitness. I want you to think of these storms as God's spiritual fitness strategy, just for you, right? In the gym, you put your muscles under stress to make them stronger. It's the same principle. God uses these spiritual trials, these turbulent times, to strengthen your faith, to build your resilience, and to grow you up into the person He created you to be. Those mountaintop moments are wonderful, for sure, but it's the storms that truly build our strength. Okay, let's keep going, because it's not just about enduring the storm. The key isn't really the size of the storm, but who is in the boat with you. So now we're going to shift our focus from the chaos all around you to the anchor that's right there with you.
Let's picture that scene again. These disciples weren't amateurs. Many of them were expert fishermen who knew this sea like the back of their hands, and they were panicking for their lives. The waves are crashing over the boat. It feels like this is the end. And what is Jesus doing? He's asleep. The contrast is just staggering. Their absolute panic versus his perfect peace. So, the crucial point is this: Jesus isn't intimidated by your storm. To you, it might seem impossible, devastating, unending, but to him, it's not frightening in the least. Here's a powerful thought to hold on to. You can freak out only if Jesus is freaking out. If he is at peace in your situation, that is your permission to be calm too. His peace is your anchor. This brings up a really important question for all of us to think about. When the storms of your life are raging and that fear starts to creep in, where do you turn for peace? What are the anchors that keep you steady? I would genuinely love to read your thoughts on this. Please share them in the comments below. You never know, your strategy could really help someone else who's navigating a storm right now.
The disciples were so struck by fear they completely forgot what Jesus had actually said. He didn't say, hey, let's get in the boat and see what happens. No, he said, let us go to the other side. His promise wasn't for a smooth, easy ride. He never promised they wouldn't get wet or feel scared. His promise was for a safe arrival. What guarantees your success isn't your own strength, but who's in the boat with you.
And how did Jesus handle the storm when they finally woke him up? He stood up and spoke just 3 words: peace, be still. That's it, proving that the one in the boat with you has authority over absolutely everything you will ever face.
That act of calming the storm shows us a deeper truth, doesn't it? A storm is a kind of breaking. And this brings us to our next section, from brokenness to beauty. Here, we're going to explore how God takes all kinds of broken things and restores them into something even more beautiful.
There's this incredible Japanese art form called kintsugi. When a piece of pottery breaks, they don't throw it away. They meticulously mend it, and get this, they fill the cracks with gold lacquer. The whole philosophy is that the object is now more beautiful, more valuable, precisely because it was broken. It has a history. I just love that thought. God doesn't just fix us, He can make our broken places the most beautiful parts of our story.
The writer Vance Havner pointed out this pattern that you see everywhere in creation. It takes broken soil to produce a crop, broken clouds to give rain, broken grain to make bread, and broken bread to give us strength. And in the very same way, God can only truly use a heart that is broken and humble before Him. Brokenness isn't the end. So often, it's the necessary first step for new life and purpose.
And this is where our pain gets a future. The Bible tells us in 2 Corinthians that God, the God of all comfort, comforts us in our troubles so that we can comfort others with the very same comfort we have received. God does not waste a hurt, He recycles it. The pain you're going through right now might just be the very thing that qualifies you to help someone else through their own storm one day.
Okay, let's move into our final section, and it's a powerful one. We've talked about storms, we've talked about brokenness. Now let's talk about what's left after the healing, the scars. We're going to totally reframe them, not as wounds of pain, but as trophies of victory.
This is a truly profound thought. I mean, think about it. When Jesus was resurrected, He could have had a body with 0 blemishes, no signs of what He'd been through. Yet, He chose to keep the scars in His hands, His feet, and His side. Theologians have pointed out that the only man-made things in all of heaven are those very scars. They aren't marks of failure. They are eternal symbols of the greatest victory ever won.
This slide makes a critical distinction that can change how we see ourselves. The difference between a wound and a scar. A wound says, I am currently hurting. It's a sign of ongoing pain, right? But a scar says, I have been healed. It's not a mark of weakness, it is a badge of victory. It is a testimony that what was meant to destroy you did not.
So often, we try to hide our scars because we're ashamed of the story they tell. But we need to see them in a totally new light. We have to change the narrative. Instead of hiding, we can say with confidence, yeah, the enemy tried to take me out, but God brought me through. You see this scar? Let me tell you the story of God's grace. It's proof that you made it.
So I want to leave you with this one final provocative question. We spend so much time seeing our scars, our past hurts, our failures, our deepest pains as liabilities, things to hide. But what if that's completely wrong? What if your deepest scars are actually the ultimate proof of your greatest strength and the clearest testimony to the God who brought you through it all?
If anything in this explainer inspired you or spoke to you today, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Be Thankful. Your support really does help us reach more people. And of course, feel free to share this with anyone you know who might be navigating a storm of their own right now. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless.